past my stepbrother not inviting me to his wedding. My stepbrother is marrying someone who has been disrespectful to our family. I stood up to him and told him, and he didn't invite me to his wedding. It hurts because essentially my whole family will be there on his wedding day. I decided to turn it into a happy memory and take myself to Disneyland. I have a lot of mixed emotions. His fiancée continues to just be nasty and hateful. My brother just accepts it. My stepdad continued to be a people pleaser, knowing what he did and called my brother out on it. My mom, understanding my position, supports me, also doesn't like his fiancée, is going to the wedding because it's one of those things a wife just has to do. Extended family doesn't know details but knows my stepbrother and I are at odds. I'm not coming on here to explain the situation because it's messed up. I don't regret at all what I did. I stood up for my family and my nephew's mom. It's the reality of doing the right thing and then being hurt by those you consider family. Just seeking a community who's been through something similar. I'm in therapy and that helps, but it's nothing like speaking to people who've gone through something similar. Like how to move on and accept it. The wedding is coming up, so I understand I won't start healing until after my trip. But after this I never want to see him at family events, etc. But it's hard because he has a son, my nephew, and I'm an involved aunt.
The time I was reckless at a baby shower. I'm a 20-year-old guy, and I need to tell this story, which I must clarify wasn't entirely my fault. My family and I were invited to my aunt and uncle's baby shower for the baby on the way, and we went. We arrived at the venue very early, since it was quite far from the city, almost among the hills, but we arrived and helped set up the event. One of my aunts asked me to lead the event, liven it up a bit with the games and activities they had prepared, and I accepted immediately, since I love entertainment more than anything. The guests arrived, everyone enjoying themselves, eating, drinking, and so on. It was time for the activities, the classic baby shower games, like changing the baby's toys, the clothesline, and the high chairs. We finally got to a dance party, and I was encouraging everyone to dance and approached a man to encourage him to get up and dance. I said that, and everyone at the table started laughing, which I didn't understand because I hadn't said anything funny. But you kept giving me a dirty look, a really dirty look. I looked down and noticed you were missing a leg. I looked around, and everyone was quite offended, and some were laughing. My mom came over and told me what a stupid thing I'd just done. I ran away, not out of embarrassment, but to go somewhere else and laugh my head off. I know I messed up, but I couldn't help it. Besides, it was a really dark joke. Some took it in stride, and others didn't. Guess who's banned from the family there? Exactly, me.
Trail towards the Black House. When I was 14, I lived with my dad in a mobile home next to a mobile home park. Our mobile home was right next to the park, but we weren't actually part of the park, like we had our own driveway and mailbox and everything. Right next to our home was the first home in the trailer park. There was a kid that lived there I went to school with, and we became good friends. We'll say his name was Josh. Josh was kind of one of those bad influence kids. He was the one always trying to get us into all sorts of trouble. Like I remember one time he convinced me to help him break into one of the old vacant mobile homes in the park, and when we went inside we just completely trashed the place. We would cause all kinds of trouble around the trailer park, but it was mostly me just following his lead because I thought he was so cool, you know? We had explored all of what this huge trailer park place had to offer over the year or so since we became friends. All except one part, the very end. See, the trailer park was basically just this one long road with mobile homes on either side of the road. At one point, however, the mobile homes stop, but the road continues, and we had never really gone all the way down to see what's there. So one dusky day we decided to. So we walked down the trailer park road until the mobile homes end, and we're met with this long stretch of road that looks like it starts to penetrate the thick forest further down. Down at the end of this road is one of those metal yellow barrier fences to keep trucks out, and past that the road turns right. We continue down it and it turns into a bridge which we never seen before. Right at the end of the bridge though we are met with a fenced-off entrance with a bunch of do not enter signs and official warnings. It looks like some water purification plant or something. Either way, it was heavily closed off, so there was no way we were going to get in there. But just before the fence and right after the bridge, on the left-hand side, is this path. It's not a super clear path, but it's a path that goes by the side of the creek the bridge goes over. So we decide to take it. Walking on this path next to the creek is pretty clear, just very grassy, that's about it, until we reach a certain point where the path heads into the thick forest with what looks like a forestry arch greeting us as we penetrate the woods. No joke, this looks like something straight out of a horror movie or something. Anyway, we're making our way through the deep woods and all seems fine until I see a pair of shoes, then Josh sees a pair of shoes, then I see another, then more and more, until we are seeing nothing but shoes. I am not joking, there are stacks of shoes in every viewable direction. Shoes of all kinds and sizes. Kids' shoes, grown-up boots, sandals, sneakers, flats, you name it. They were everywhere, even some hanging from the low-hanging branches in the woods. It looked like the ultimate shoe graveyard. Somehow we still pressed onward past the shoe graveyard and emerged from the other side of the woods into what looked like an isolated opening surrounded by trees on all sides, and I will never forget what we saw. In the middle of this opening was a hill, and right in the middle on top of this hill was a house, a fairly big 2-story 1930s era house with a porch and what looked like a balcony as well. The house was completely black. The reason it was completely black is because it looked like it burnt down. It was strange though, because it looked exactly like the whole house had caught on fire before, because all the wood on the outside looked burned to a crisp, but other than that there was no damage at all. The house looked flawless. That's when Josh pointed out that someone was home cause there was smoke coming from the chimney. At this point we were pretty freaked out until quite possibly the most nerve-wracking and scariest thing ever happened to us. As Josh and I were standing there looking at the house in awe, over the horizon of the hill which the house sat upon to the side we see a shape emerging. What we saw next we will never forget. It was this massive-looking creature with all white fur with a tinge of orange fur. It looked like a fox, but far too huge to be a fox. I mean, this thing was bigger looking than the largest Great Dane ever. Josh and I just kind of froze, hoping that it wasn't seeing us. That is until we heard a loud screeching, screaming sound, and then the beast started to bolt towards us. We bolted back into the woods so fast it felt like we were breaking a running record. We ran so fast through the woods. All I remember then was emerging from the other side and my heart pounding so hard it felt like it was going to pop out of my chest. Needless to say, we never went back to the black house on the hill, and shortly after I ended up moving away and losing ties with my friend Josh. Still one of the scariest moments of my life ever.
My girlfriend's ultimate betrayal. How I found out she was cheating with 4 guys. So yeah, never thought I'd be posting here, but man, I need to get this off my chest. Been with my girl for 3 years and was legit saving for a ring and everything. Then her phone starts blowing up at 2 a.m. like every night. She's all, it's just work stuff, but like, at 2 a.m.? Come on, I know everyone says don't go through your partner's phone, but whatever, I did it anyway, and holy crap, my life just exploded right there. Wasn't just one dude, 4 different guys. All these separate convos with pics I never want to see again, them planning hookups, and worst part? They were all joking about me. One was literally my best friend since we were kids. Another was her boss, classic, our freaking neighbor from down the hall, and that gay friend she was always hanging out with, who, surprise surprise, wasn't actually gay. This had been going on for like 8 months while I'm working double shifts to save for our future and stuff. When I finally confronted her, I thought she'd at least try to deny it or cry or something. Nope, she straight up laughed and was like, "Took you long enough to figure it out." Said I was too predictable, and she was bored. My so-called best friend texted later saying, it wasn't personal, and these things happen. Like, WTF man? I just grabbed my stuff that night while she went out to clear her head, which probably meant hooking up with one of them, TBH. It's been like 2 months now. Moved to a different city, blocked all their asses, started therapy cause I was messed up. Then yesterday she calls from some random number crying about how she made a huge mistake. Turns out boss dude fired her after getting what he wanted, neighbor moved away, my ex-friend got busted by his girlfriend, and the gay friend ghosted her once he got bored. She had the nerve to ask if we could work things out. I just laughed and hung up. Some things you just can't fix, and finding out your girlfriend's been living a whole secret life with 4 other dudes. Yeah, that's definitely one of them.
Hit the like button, subscribe and turn on notifications to receive more anonymous stories.